Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. It's my pleasure to have back with us once again best-selling book author Stephen Leeb. His newest is Game Over, How You Can Prosper in a Shattered Economy. Stephen, welcome back to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Now, Stephen, by now everybody already knows about the devastating recession that we're in. And is it too late, really? If people need to protect themselves, how can they do it?
Well, I don't think it's a question of not just protecting yourself from this recession. This will pass.
Yeah.
Probably within the next 6 months, I think we'll start seeing much better economic numbers. We may have to go through a few more scares, because we're going to have to fund this banking bailout. But I think it will pass. Question is, what happens next?
Right.
And what happens next, I think you're already getting something of a taste of it. You're seeing commodity prices on many cases up 10, 20% from their lows.
Sure.
And you can only imagine where these commodities are going if the world's economies get in gear and start growing again. I mean, now we really just have one economy that's sort of growing, and that's China.
Yeah.
But once the U.S. and other economies start growing, and they will, you're going to have another 2008 in which you get high commodity prices, probably the Fed stepping on the monetary brakes, and probably the economy headed for another semi-crash. And you're going to continue to repeat this cycle over and over again. So when you talk about protection against this recession, yes, I don't think it's too late, but it's more than just this recession. It's protecting yourself against what's likely to be extreme turbulence over the next 10, 15 years.
All right. Now, well, here we get into the next question, and basically that is, we've got Americans that are looking forward to relaxing the retirement. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be relaxing anytime soon. They without a doubt have to be on the edge, especially if their 401ks are down, their retirement's down, and their savings are down, investments are down. What's left? They can rely on Social Security and Medicare. I don't know how much that's there. All right, so when is it time for people to really sit up and take notice, if not anything, take action, Stephen?
Well, I mean, in terms of their investments, in terms of how they protect themselves, their children, their grandchildren, I think that you have to start thinking about it right now.
Sure.
I mean, what's happening, at this point, if you just step back, the 2000s have been a decade in which stocks have been a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Bonds, with the exception of government bonds, have been a catastrophe. Cash has not been very good because inflation has probably throughout the decade averaged about what short-term treasuries have paid or T-bills have paid. So the only real homes, the only really real shelter throughout this decade has been commodities and precious metals. And precious metals, I think, have stood out the most. And I think that's going to continue to be the case. I mean, that's not an argument, and nor do I intend to make an argument that you want to invest 100% of your assets in gold. But certainly, I think everybody should have some portion of their portfolio allocated to precious metals and to gold.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, in my opinion, it just makes good sense, even if you're wrong.
Right.
I mean, you don't go through, a turbulent period like this and have no insurance against the turbulence. It just doesn't make sense.
That's probably why we're seeing, and that's called the flight to quality, folks, is that we're seeing a ton of investors, traders, really going to gold, going to these types of precious metal commodities. Agreed?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Because, gold is the one, basically every currency is being debased.
Yeah.
By virtue of how much they're printing. I don't like to sound like a reflexive gold bug because I've never been a gold bug before.
All right.
But, there's a time where you just have to, be just listen to what's the markets and to what, the policy actions are telling you. I mean, you're printing trillions of dollars.
All right.
You're printing, trillions of euros. I mean, every currency is being, just flooded.
Right.
The world is being flooded with currencies.
Right, and a lot of it's not backed by nothing but air.
None of it's backed.
All right, so let's talk about this because the feds are spending massive amounts of money. They plan on spending more massive amounts of money. And I'm told that they will not stop printing paper until they run out of ink, and I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so should we be concerned about inflation, but not inflation, but hyperinflation?
Well, yeah. I mean, back in 2008, with oil prices, around 140, inflation only hit around 5 or a little over 5%.
Yeah.
And, what's so far kept it in check has been that labor has been, pretty weak sister in terms of the economy. But once labor, starts, demanding more of a fair share, then all of a sudden you've got, high resource prices and wage price inflation. You've got the whole ball of wax. And I think the resource crisis this time around is much, much worse than anything we've seen in our past, including the 70s.
All right. Well, we talked a lot of doom and gloom here today. So what's the best way, really a clear-cut and well-crafted financial road for,
I don't want to be totally doom and gloom.
Yeah, I agree.
What I want to remind people and sort of urge them is to expect more of what you've seen in 2008.
Right. And let's face it, Stephen, it's better to side with caution, isn't it, than be caught off guard once again.
Right, it is.
All right.
And I think that once, this will pass, but it's going to take, I think this is 10 or 15 years. We're going to have to build out an alternative energy infrastructure.
Right.
Once we do that, I think our children can look forward to very bright skies. But we're not doing that right now.
All right, so potentially we're looking at a lost decade, just like the Japanese had.
I don't know if it'll be lost in the same way.
Yeah.
But history never repeats itself exactly, but it's going to be an extremely tough decade.
All right.
Some combination between what Japan experienced and what we experienced in the 1970s.
Right. So people really need to thin up their they need to clean their financial house. If they're going to have staying power, what is one way in Game Over that would demonstrate that? And for the rest of the examples, they can pick up a copy of Game Over.
Well, the investment that we really highlight the most would be precious metals.
All right.
I mean, if you just look at last year as an example, market down 40%, gold up 1 or 2%.
All right. Yeah.
Does it all.
All right. Where can we get a copy of Game Over today, Stephen?
Amazon, Borders, Barnes & Noble.
Yeah. All right. What about a website? Do you have one?
Yes.
Where is it?
Just Google Complete Investor.
All right.
And the first thing that comes up is us.
All right. There you have it. Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, great places. Support your local bookstore on the corner. Wherever fine books are sold, you can get a copy of Game Over. Stephen Leeb's with us here today. And he's also The Coming Economic Collapse. Wrote that, too. Great books. Get a copy today. Stephen, as always, do appreciate your time here on Traders Nation.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome. Stephen Leeb, folks. And again, the name of the book is Game Over, How You Can Prosper in a Shattered Economy. Don't we all need to know? All right. Get a copy today, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, wherever fine books are sold once again, folks.